Welcome to Bird Talk with Pam
and Robert.
On this episode, our featured bird is a hyacinth macaw. Plus, we relive some of the fun we had with last year's float, and the club had a special guest, a real live barred owl.
And who and what the Olympic bird fanciers is about, and why Lassie wasn't a parrot. First up, though, is a video about who and what Olympic bird fanciers is about, and some of the things that we do.
The club had a special guest recently, Mike Pratt from West Sound Wildlife. He brought with him a barred owl named Athena. West Sound is a non-profit organization and rehabilitation operation based out of Bainbridge Island. The club first learned of West Sound Wildlife when a club member found an injured eagle on the side of the road, Bay Street, here in Port Orchard.
West Sound Wildlife collected the eagle, took it to its facility, rehabilitated it, and re-released it into the wild a few months later. Since then, Olympic bird fanciers has contributed to their organization annually. And Mike's presentation on the barred owl was very, very interesting and informative, and to see a wild barred owl up close is just amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful animal. So here are some highlights from Mike's educational presentation.
Well, as you know, World Bird Sanctuary is located on Bainbridge Island. And we treat all wildlife. We're like a wildlife hospital. And we treat we see over 700 animals a year. And it just keeps getting more and more every year we see patients. We see all wildlife, everything from coyote to fawns to the little hummingbirds. And eagles and lots of raptors lately. We've been seeing a lot of raptors have been coming in. In fact, this past year is our biggest year for eagles. We actually had over 10 eagles this year. We are a not-for-profit organization, therefore we rely on private donations and things to survive. And I think Lynn passed out to let you all know that we're having our big fundraiser, our big auction. That accounts for a huge amount of our yearly budget. So the money that we get from that auction. So if you know of anyone that would like to come to an auction, we have some great trips and eco things that are planned that will be getting auctioned off. So hopefully if you know of anyone, or just pass those things out or pass them on so that folks will know about our auction coming up. So today we're going to talk a little bit about owls today. And what do we know about owls? What do we know? What's that? They have night vision. What else? They're nocturnal.
Their heads turn all the way around.
Their heads turn all the way around. Well, that's an interesting one. I like that. What we found out was when the heads turn all the way around, they have a tendency to fall off. And it's really unhealthy for them. But that is an old myth. They do turn 3/4 of the way around, okay? Pretty close, very close. And the reason for that is because their eyes are fixed in their head. Well, actually, the physical reason is because they have more vertebrae in their necks. Like all birds, they have more vertebrae so they can turn around their head. But their eyes are fixed in their head. So, and as you know, probably that the eyes are very, very large. In fact, if you hold your fist up to your eye, that would be the size. If you were an owl, that would be the size of one of your eyes. So you could see that they would be almost touching. So the eyes are very big in the head. So when they say, you know, and so that takes up a lot of space. So, and they have very, very good eyesight. One person told me that a great horned owl could, if you put him at the end of a football field at night, and at the opposite end you set up a newspaper next to a candle, he could actually read the newsprint. So, so that would tell you how much, how good the eyesight really is. So, what else do we know about owls? Anything else?
Predators.
They're predators. They eat a lot of things. Yeah, they eat a lot of stuff. The barred owl that I have today, he actually eats. He'll eat frogs, and in fact, some of his feathers. A lot of times, barred owl's feathers have like a pinkish cast to them, and that's from eating crayfish. And they'll eat insects and birds and small mammals. Pellets or castings. Yeah. And what those are, pellets and castings, owls, all raptors actually, will eat their food, and then the things that they don't digest, like the bones and the fur, they'll form like a little casting or a pellet down in their stomach, and then they chuck that. And then a lot of schools like to actually take owl pellets and dissect them, and they can actually tell what the owl has been eating by putting the little skeleton back together. They do have very good memory, though. They did do a study on memory, and actually on a lot of birds, the memory is space that's reserved for memory is as large or equivalent to humans. So, so the memory supposedly is supposed to be pretty good. So. They do mate for life. They actually do. They keep the same mate. They're pretty much you know, if one dies, they'll usually take on another mate, and they can live. I think the longest living wild owl is 18 years old. So that's pretty good. In captivity, it's 30 years. So the owl I have here will be with us for a long time. So, well, without ado, you probably did not come here just to see me. So I will bring out Athena. Now, Athena is a non-releasable barred owl. At the shelter, we have two non-releasable birds. One is a great horned owl. That's Orion. And then we have Athena. And Athena is named after the Greek goddess of war. But by theory, she's also, or by the story, she's also supposed to sometimes turn into an owl. So that's how she got her name. We actually had a naming contest in the community, throughout the county actually, and that was the winning name. Lights, huh? Big bright lights are staring at you. All right. So this is Athena, and as I was saying before, she's not a pet. I try to give her respect of her space. She looks at me as a tree. I'm the tree trunk, and this is the limb out here. So she can just hang out and just be relaxed, and she's not going to take her eyes off of me right now. And she's really not interested in you. I'm sorry. Oh, look out here. Look out here. No, she doesn't want to look out here. So you can see her eyes, well, if she would ever look at you. Her ears are right here at the edge of her facial disc. The ears are actually under the feathers. It's almost like just a hole in the side of the head. Owls have asymmetrical ears. Our ears are symmetrical, so they're even. Well, mine may not be, but normally they're supposed to be even on humans, but on birds they're asymmetrical. And that way they can actually find prey in darkness without or like under leaves without actually seeing it. So they'll kind of turn their head for the sound and get it equal in both ears, and then they know exactly where it's at. So their hearing is very good. Barred owls actually are one of the owls that you will see in daylight, especially this time of the year when food is a little bit scarce. They will hunt during the day. And they will actually hunt like in the evenings or like early in the mornings too. So you will see them out during the day sometimes. To prevent crows from attacking him, the adults have learned to stay up against the tree trunk. They don't try to. They try to blend in with the tree trunk. But the young ones, when they're first out there on the limbs walking around, they like to explore, and that's when the crows will spot them and will knock them out. We get a lot of baby barred owls in just because when they're young, before they can fly, they will leave the nest at probably 4 to 5 weeks old, and they will walk around on the limbs, but sometimes they fall onto the ground, but they can't fly yet. Parents will come down and feed them, but it's important that when people find them on the ground, not to pick them up, because the parents are taking care of them. And we have had reports of people like on trails and things getting hit in the head from the parent, okay, because they're getting a little bit close to the baby and they're not even aware of it. So 4 to 5 weeks, they're called branchers. They're walking around, and then probably at about 10 weeks, they're starting to take their first flight, and then at 12 weeks, they're pretty much on their own. And they usually start out eating things like grasshoppers and things like that, little crawling insects, and then they hone up their skill up and work their way up to hunting mice and things like that. You know, again, you probably don't want to artificially feed them. You know, they're gonna hunt the mice and the things like that. I wouldn't really suggest you put goldfish in your pond. They, you know, in the wintertime they may try to clear that out. If they don't, the raccoons for sure will. But yeah, they will hunt like along waterways. They like a lot of waterways, so they'll hunt like frogs and some fish, and so they're opportunists. They She is, yeah.
What is the reason? I mean, okay.
There she's looking around.
Are you the only one who handles her?
Right now I have been, yeah, and we're getting other people trained, so she'll...
What do you feed her?
She actually gets we try to give her a natural diet of what she'll find in the wild. So she gets rats and mice and quail, and occasional fish. Yeah. Yep, she's all feathers. Oh, I got a person here. Do you see that? Huh?
I've seen it. Get Robert.
Look at the people.
Well, that was a good video.
Was a good video.
Well, Mike's speech was pretty educational. I think the club reacted really well to him. He's a good speaker. I mean, he really brought along a lot of the information that I thought was really, really good. I'd like to thank Mike and Lynn for coming over and bringing Athena.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, Timmy fell down a well.
What?
I said Timmy fell down a well.
Timmy? Fell down a well?
And it's filling up with water.
We've got to save him. Do you know where he is?
There's a puma in there.
A puma in a well filling up with water with poor little Timmy?
Well, let me out and I'll show you.
Okay, let's hurry. Go find Timmy. Go find Timmy. Where's Timmy? The puma? You didn't love it. You just found out, didn't you? Lassie.
Last year, the club entered and built a parade float, a giant tiki hut that was in reality an 8-sided cage on wheels. We participated in 3 parades and won awards in all 3.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun. I loved listening to the crowd and just seeing the audience or the people react to the birds. It was really, really exciting. So here is a montage of what it was like from inception to the parades.
The hyacinth macaw was first described by John Latham in 1781. Native to Central and Eastern South America, the hyacinth macaw is the largest macaw and the largest flying parrot species in the world. In terms of length, it's larger than any other species of parrot. The hyacinth macaw is about 39 inches long and generally about 3.5 to 4.5 pounds in weight. The wingspan can be 48 to 56 inches. It's almost entirely blue and has black under the wings. It has a large black beak with bright yellow along the sides and the lower part of the beak, also yellow circling its eyes. The female and male are nearly indistinguishable, although the female is typically a bit more slender. They have a very strong beak for eating their natural foods, which include the kernels of hard nuts and seeds. Their beaks are even able to crack coconuts and macadamia nuts. Additionally, they eat fruits and other vegetable matter, and pine nuts are one of the most popular foods. The hyacinth macaw survives today in 3 main populations. The hyacinth macaw is considered an endangered species due to the overcollection for the cage bird trade during the 70s and 80s and due to habitat loss. Annual grass fires set by gauchos can destroy nest trees, and regions previously inhabited by this macaw are now unsuitable due to cattle ranching, hydroelectric power schemes, agriculture, and plantations. Locally, it's been hunted for food, and the Kayapo Indians of Guaratari in south-central Brazil use its feathers to make headdresses and other baubles. While overall greatly reduced in numbers, it remains locally common in the Brazilian Pantanal, where a specific program, the Hyacinth Macaw Project, among others involving artificial nests and awareness campaigns, has been initiated by several eco-lodges, and now many ranchers protect the macaws on their lands.
Bird cluck.
Cluck, 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 cluck.
Okay.
Is a bat. Forget it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know, but I thought I had it. Okay.
We'll have a special guest.
It's pretty exciting to see this up close. Yay! That's good. Oh, that one's done. Yeah. What do you think? Go ahead and do some stuff. Let's see.
What?
Doesn't show you what he thinks it will show.
Well, that was fine.
Oh, okay. Can you get a little towelette thing? And we can, oh, don't walk in it, baby.
Oh. Let's try. Who's gonna go for you? Want to say it first? Say what?
Are you going to talk first?
About what?
About the goodbyes.
Say goodbye.
Bye.
Wait. Ready?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Goodbye.
See you next time on Bird Talk. Olympic OBF Bird Talk. Come on, let's say something.
Goodbye.